So in this video, we're going to show how to set up Clover Mini, that is generation 2. So let's get started with the device and the wires and the power cable. Now we need to plug all that together. So this end of the cable goes into this power adapter here. This end of the cable gets plugged into the power outlet, and this end of the cable is plugged in right here into this bolt or lightning sign, like so. And then this end of the cable here is plugged in to the device right here. So it can go on either way, either direction, so either this direction or that direction. And then depending on which direction you're going, this right here gets anchored on one of these little bolts that stick out. So let us do that. Alright. And so I chose this side, and then this right here is the screw that we use the green screwdriver for. The green screwdriver will tighten the screw here and will ensure that the plug is in the right place. And then we just anchor this to that side, push it in, and that's it. And then the cable will just stay put this way. And this is why the direction is important, because you can have the cable sticking out from this end or from that end, right? And then at this point, all we have to do is just plug this end into the power outlet, and the device will boot up like that. And so now we're just gonna give it a second, and the device will boot up. Okay, and let us just zoom in a little bit. And so we're going to set our language in English. And the next thing it's going to ask us to do is to connect to our Wi-Fi. So I'm going to do that. All right, so here we are, we're connected to the internet. And then we go next and next. And now it will go through the most recent updates that it needs to do and download all the most recent apps. So we're just gonna give it a minute to do that. So we're making good progress here, just getting under in a minute. Almost there. As it turns out, this process takes quite some time, so I'm keeping most of it off film so we don't bore you guys with just waiting, but you know, if on your end you're experiencing that this Clover needs to update, that this first initial update is taking a very long time, it's pretty normal because you know, everybody, there's a ton of apps and each one of them needs to get updated to all of its releases that have happened since this particular device was, you know, put together. And so this process does take a long time, and just, you know, wait, be patient, don't stop it. Okay, here we go. So after the update was done, the Clover reboots itself, the Clover Mini Generation 2. All right, so we've booted back up and continuing with the setup. And so here our presentation sort of diverges a little bit because we're dealing here with what's called a like a dev kit. So it's not a real Clover device in the sense that it doesn't get set up exactly the same way that a production device that a merchant would get. And so from at this point, I'll just kind of explain the next steps rather than showing them, because they'll be a little different. So we've connected the device to Wi-Fi. That's why all of the updates went through, and you know, we rebooted it. So the next thing will be basically activating the device. And you can associate this device with your account by doing the handshake via this device activation code. And so you can just look at something that's called device activation code. It'll give you this little QR code that you can scan, and these instructions here will explain to you what needs to happen in order to associate this device with your account. But ultimately, for that, you will need a serial number. I believe serial number can be found here, if I'm not mistaken, right here. So once you open it, just look right there, and there will be a serial number there. Yeah. And the plugin for aux is right there, basically. There's also a speaker there. And that basically concludes our presentation. Thanks.